Yeah. I got it. As I was saying, Bob Newhart. There it is, right? Bob autographing to Doug. Enjoy. DVDs. So DVDs were huge when I was at Amazon in the 90s. It was that was the original binge stuff. It wasn't streaming. It was companies would put on these box sets of TV shows, and as they were making a lot of money, they started finding older and older shows. So the Bob Newhart show was a sitcom from the 70s that I grew up with. I mean, my family watched it, my dad and my mom and my brothers probably. It was every Saturday. It was Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart, Carol Burnett show. But I knew Bob Newhart's comedy also because my dad had the album. Bob Newhart had two big selling albums. I mean, now I don't mean big selling comedy albums. He had two of the biggest selling albums of the early 60s. So there's an opportunity to go interview Bob Newhart down in his home in California. The first thing we did was go to the Fox offices, but it was like going to a movie set because the Fox offices is a building in LA that is that was the Tamagotchi Tower in Die Hard. That building, the exteriors, they were offices. That's how they probably got permission to actually, blow parts of it up, was because that was their office buildings. So we drive out to Beverly Hills to go to Bob Newhart's house in Beverly Hills to interview him. And the big gate opens and this beautiful landscape and this older house just looked great. And met the publicist, and the interview was going to be done in his study. The director kind of works out, okay, let's put Bob in the study so all stuff is there, and then we'll get a chair and we'll put you here in the hallway, and then the rest of the crew can be behind us there. So we get all situated. Bob comes in, we meet introductions, and Bob's old. Bob's old. He's not the guy I remember from the 70s, or he had a show in the 80s too. I mean, it's 30 years, right? Everyone ages. But, you see your childhood icons, it kind of takes you back. If there's this older gentleman, they get him mic'd, I sit down. So we figure this out that, here's the hall, the study, and everything looks really nice. I'm sitting down the hallway. The camera is like right behind my shoulder, and the rest of the crew's behind me. I don't even think about them after the interview starts. So I'm a little nervous and I get going. And a couple minutes into it, the only time during the interview, the director comes down and whispers into my ear. He says, "Don't move your hand. It's in the shot." And I mean, all this happens in microseconds. I'm just, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking with my hands, and it's going occasionally, going into the camera. So I immediately grab my leg and I probably hold it there the rest of the interview, just like, I should have known better. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. But again, just microseconds later, and stop saying so much. And I think, oh, come on, buddy. I've been trying to do that for 40 years. I think I'm suddenly going to stop here as I'm interviewing Bob Newhart in Beverly Hills. Give me a break. We finished the interview. My favorite moment was at one point I got him to laugh, just a rip-roaring roar, and he tilted his head back and laughed hard. And as he did that and his eyes squinted a little bit, I could see that younger Bob Newhart, that character I remember from 30 years ago came out, and it felt wonderful. And I remember packing up and saying our goodbyes and heading out to the airport, and I just remember thinking I can't wait to have a moment to call my dad and tell him about my day.